How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to Turkish and Curtis. Imagine we've been thinking about a name for a couple of years and the one we've landed on is Turkish and Curtis, but or Curtis and Turkish, whichever way. I think both roll off the tongue in some way. What are you saying, though, my bro?
Oh, we got there in the end. We're like, yo, we'll call it this, we'll call it that, and we're like, you know what? Just call it Turkish and Curtis. Don't worry about it. People call me Turkish anyway. Like, oh, Turkish. Oh,
Bro,
sorry, Curtis. Like, just call it whatever you want, people. You know, we're here anyway.
every week at the studio, every week, if it's not Laurie or Robbie or someone calling me Curtis, and then, oh, sorry, Turk. I'm just this. I don't mind anymore. The Curtis, Turkish, whatever it is, Curtis is doing his thing as well. So big up, man. And you are doing. Listen, bro. I know we speak quite often, yeah. But like, this is the first episode of the show. I do want to say big up to you because you've been moving mad the last 2 years, really. But I think the recognition is really showing in the last year. Your channel's booming. Watch along's booming. You know, your personality booming. I know a lot of your community love your character and personality more than anything, which is a blessing. Because if they love your personality and character, you can vibes. And I think that's the base of this show, really, vibes more than anything. And then we'll find our lane.
Yeah,
but big
obviously we've always got on, spoke a lot off camera about football, and we both like hip hop and similar things. And obviously we've been on tour, and you know, me and you always supporters club back in the day. That was my first, you know what I mean? On AFTV, it was like, yo, supporters club at YouTube, and it was like, you know, so we needed to do this show, man. It's like, you know, Cameron and Joel Santana, Burkamp and Ulrich. So, and obviously we'll just start here and build it as we go along, get an intro, do some pre-recorded shows. And people, this is the most requested on my channel. I've said, yo, who do you want me to link up? Hey, oh, you and Turkish. So I'm like, I'm glad we're here at last, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Likewise. I mean, everyone keeps on saying this. And listen, over the last couple of years, you know, since I joined the FTV more full time and the Big Six took off, that's taken up a lot of my time. So my channel hasn't really had anything else. But now the Big Six has moved over to its own channel, and we're all helping run it in one way or another. I thought, I've got to come back onto my channel, make consistent content, shout at Curtis, you know, like every time in the last 2 years. Every time we talk about a show, we're like, it's got to happen. Let's make it happen. Finally, we're here. It's happening, people. So hit the like button first and foremost. Go subscribe to Curtis's channel. That's in the description as well. And show some love to him. Obviously, always doing his thing. He's live every day. He's live every day. So show him some love. But what are you saying, though, man? I mean, where do we start? I said vibes is the base, but where do we start? Do we start with a 5-0? Do we go back a bit more and then talk about maybe what we thought at the beginning of the season? I don't know.
We can rewind if do you know what? I'm glad we're doing the show today because we were going to do it on Friday. And I was in my feelings, bro. I can't lie. It was like a Drake album. Like, there was all kinds of emotion there. Them 3 defeats, I was like, they've done it to me again, bro. They've made me believe we're going to win. And then I'm here. But yesterday, it restored the faith a little bit. Do you know what I mean? I saw things in that performance that I liked, but I'm still staying calm. I saw headlines like, yo, we can win the league now. I'm like, yo, it's one game. Palace weren't very good, you know, albeit we did make them look bad, you know, which is credit to us, but still a long way to go. But yeah, it's better than it was a few days ago, man.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, it doesn't help that Liverpool went and smashed Bournemouth today as well, which kind of puts it back to where it was. And to be honest, they got a few big players missing, whether it be injuries or AFCON, and to smoke a Bournemouth side that have been doing pretty well recently, to smoke them like that. I can't lie. Listen, Liverpool fans at times this season, especially on Big Six, they thought I've disrespected them by saying some of the things I've said. Like I felt like if it's not I feel like if it's not Man City that win the title, I'll be vexed because in my opinion, it should be us. That's not dismissing Liverpool. I'm just talking about the trajectory that we were supposedly on last season. But what Liverpool have done this season so far, and then the result today, that's one of those ones that kind of, it's a statement. They made, in my opinion, they made a statement today against Bournemouth. Did you watch the match?
I saw the game, yeah. Like, first half, they were quite poor, I thought. But second half, the thing with Liverpool, it's like, the problem with them that we've got is they got so much know-how in that dressing room, bro. You got a manager that knows how to win when he's in a situation where people think he shouldn't win. Do you know what I mean? He was in Germany like, yeah, Bayern Munich are going to win, and he won. he came to England. Our Pep's here, and he's won everything. You got Trent, who for me is having a great season, in my opinion, for them. You got Van Dijk, who still, in my opinion, is probably, I still think the best centre-back in the Premier League, to be honest. And I love Saliba. I think he can become the best, but Van Dijk as a leader, as a captain, Salah, we know at any given moment can, score goals. So I still, Konate, Konate is a tank. Like, I actually think Konate and Saliba should be the French centre-back.
I know both sides are always arguing, he plays, and Saliba doesn't. They should both be playing, in my opinion.
Of course they should. Yeah, Upamecano, I don't think is better than either one of them. Maybe it's because he's at Bayern Munich. But yeah, I just think that, I know what you're saying. You were saying if City didn't win it, you thought it should have been us because we nearly won it last year. We spent 200 million. But I just have this feeling now that when Liverpool are at the table, I feel like they could be the closest rival to City, which hurts me to say, but I just think once Klopp's in there, he's like, yo, I know what I'm doing here. You know what I mean? Where Arteta's still, how do we get over the finish line kind of thing. So but it'll be a good title race. It'll be definitely a good title race.
No, I feel like that as well with Liverpool. Like, when was I asked? It was on AFTV's half-season show or mid-season review, where I think we'll finish now. And I said third. I said second at the start of the season because I still put City as favourites. And I said third now because of the way we've been playing, and then obviously recent form, and then also because Liverpool's only lost this season has come from that Tottenham game. I know there's other games that you looked at and probably thought, how did they win this one? And yeah, that's the case. But we could probably say the same about City, and definitely say the same about Arsenal this season in terms of some of the games we've won. But Liverpool are definitely, because they've got the players that if they sniff a bit of blood, they're gonna go for the kill. That was our problem last year. Like Liverpool in their title-winning season, they smelt blood. And they went for it. They went for it, and they coasted. They coasted from about end of January, February. They coasted. Yeah. With us,
bro, do you know a thing I was looking at? Number one, Liverpool. They got the best defense in the league in terms of goals conceded, and then to add to that, they're second top scorers in the Prem. And when you think about the Liverpool front line, Diaz is not firing really on that left-hand side. You've got Gakpo and Núñez through the middle. Núñez scored a couple today, looked lively, but we know he's a chaotic striker. Jota's been injured. So really, Salah's been holding down that front three. And they've got a new midfield. And yet you're one goal behind Man City. So I'm like, if Núñez starts bagging, if Diaz chips in, that front line becomes a problem, So I just think once they're there at the table, they understand what it takes. You can see Klopp in the interviews. He's smiling, man. He's happy. He's like, yo, I'm back in the mix. He knows that's where he wants to be. So they're bringing off Jota off the bench and play. Look how good his finishing is, man. So they've got a lot of strength in depth there, man.
Jota or Jesus?
Jota, didn't Jota come off the bench for them today, Liverpool, or did he start? I thought he came on. He bagged two, didn't he, for Liverpool today?
He bagged two. Well,
he scored two.
What, Jota or Jesus? You're picking Jota, yeah?
What? Who do I think's better?
Yeah, who would you pick?
I think I would.
It is quite a difficult one. Like,
do you know what? Yeah, I've never really seen Jota long term through the middle. Oh, Jota started apparently, but Jota's very injury prone. That's the only thing. Like I'm in two minds with Gabriel Jesus. Like, I think he's a brilliant football player. Like, he's so good to watch. His link-up play, his first touch, them moments of brilliance, but he's not clinical enough. When Jota gets in and gets a good chance, I'm almost like, it's in. It's a goal. He don't miss. I think Carragher was saying he thinks he's as good a finisher as, like, Torres in them, man. I mean, I think he's gone a bit over the top there, but I think the feeling is when Jota gets a clear-cut chance, forget about it. It's a goal. Yeah. When Jesus gets a good chance, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm still like, So, yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think Jesus suits us better because we got two young wingers who need a striker that links up play, to be honest, So I think he suits us better than Jota would.
that one just came in my thoughts a few weeks ago when I was like comparing our backups to the other backups, and then I just thought actually there's a couple backups at other clubs that it could compete with the one that we're starting with. And
Yeah,
I love Jesus too, but I think Jota was such a good buy for Liverpool, good
great man.
price. Obviously, the injuries, that's been a problem, but it hasn't probably affected them as much as it would have affected, or Jesus's injuries have affected us because he came to supplement a good attack already, whereas Jesus come in to be a focal point of the attack, the
Yeah,
leader of the attack, especially age-wise. So there's a lot more pressure on him. But yeah, Liverpool won. They're back to a healthy lead at the top. We play them in a couple of weeks as well. Like
yeah,
that's a big one. That's a big one because if we lose that one, then
I
it's
get it.
curtains. It's curtains for the Premier
Yeah,
League.
it's that game's hard to judge, isn't it? Like you look at the way that, I mean, we outplayed them in the FA Cup, but half their team was missing. I think Van Dijk didn't play in that game. I don't know if Salah will be back. I know he got a slight injury, but I think they said he's going to miss 2 games. So I think that game could be make or break for our title race, because if I mean, what are they now? They're 5 clear of us.
Probably not make though. Probably it's a break because I don't think
It's
if
a
we win
break.
it,
It does. Yeah, it doesn't make us even if we beat them. But if we lose, we're out of it. 8 points with Salah to come back from AFCON. It's not happening. So we've got to go on a run. We've got to go and win 5, 6 games in a row, because them 3 defeats have set us back massively. And especially the opposition that we were losing to. To lose to Fulham and West Ham, who didn't really play that well on the day, and obviously the FA Cup defeat as well. We've got to win 3, 4, 5 games in a row just to get ourselves back in the conversation. So that Liverpool game's got to be 3 points.
I'm just checking now as well. They play Chelsea at Anfield just before us, and we play Forest away.
I think they'll beat Chelsea up, man.
Yeah, I think they'll beat Chelsea. To be honest, I think Forest away will be a more difficult test than Chelsea at Anfield, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it probably will. It probably will. We got a bad record at Forest as well, man. So we got a little break now, haven't we? We don't play this weekend. Next weekend, the FA Cup.
Liverpool play Fulham in 3 days, Norwich in the FA Cup on the weekend, and then Chelsea next week.
Okay. So we haven't got many games. So we've only got Forest on the Tuesday and then Liverpool on the Sunday. So you would hope by then maybe Partey could be back.
Yeah, but then so could Salah. That's the flip.
Yeah, that's the other problem. And Salah will be starting as well. Partey probably won't be able to start for a while for us.
No. And Trent as well, didn't they say a month? And that was a couple of weeks ago. So that the Arsenal game probably the target for him.
Yeah, I don't know, that game's huge for us, man. We've it's just a shame, we're not going into the window, and looking at that Ivan Toney performance yesterday, you're just thinking, if you put him in that Arsenal team now, it changes the whole dynamics of our season and our attack. But yeah, that's the game, that Liverpool game. We got to get them, man. But yeah, we got to beat Forest first. We can't even think about Liverpool. That Forest game's the one we've got to win before we even think about that. Robertson, someone's saying Robertson's nearly in training.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
another one. Yeah, but you're right. The Forest game. Listen, the Forest game is not a given. Like I'm not being fooled by the 5-0 Palace, because as much as we spanked them and we did exactly what we had to do, until the last 15 minutes, that's when we really managed to kind of spread our wings a little. Get a bit of.
Bro, I sat there at half time. I said, I know this sounds crazy, everyone. We're 2-0 up, but I'm not happy with that first half. And I know I sound like a miserable old man.
Well, I said the same thing. Maybe that's why we get along, bro.
That's why we get on, And some people were like, what are you moaning about? I'm like, bruv, we haven't done anything. We've scored 2 headers from set pieces. And this Palace team, like, I don't know about you, that's one of the worst Palace performances I've ever seen against Arsenal. Yeah. Like, Roy just looked knackered. He looks like he needs to retire. Bro, Eze and Mitchell, it was impressive. I would take Eze at Arsenal.
Yeah. I'll take Eze and Elise. I'll take them both.
Yeah. Mitchell as well, but
that would add some good rotation options, depth options, like and homegrown as well. I think Elisa counts as homegrown, but But yeah, I mean that, and until really the last 20 minutes, I felt exactly the same way. Do you remember the Bournemouth 4-0 when we beat them 4-0 earlier this season?
Yeah,
Couple
away.
penalties, and there was that goal from Saka where Jesus headed it back, hits the post, and falls to Saka. Now, obviously, on the face of it, 4-0, smoke them, happy days. But I at that time I mentioned there's still just something not right about their attack. I still feel the same way against Palace, but I think when Martinelli came on, that's when I felt like the last 20 minutes was the attack of last season. Did you get what I mean?
I said the same thing because I remember that interview you did. You was talking about fluidity in it.
Yeah.
And they were coming for you in the comments, but
Bro.
a few weeks later we were like, look, like it's clearly the fluidity is not there. But I said the same thing as you said there. I said that later part of the second half felt like Arsenal last season because we were playing quick. We hit them on the break with the Trossard goal, Martinelli getting in behind. And like when we go 1-0 up in games, we seem to retreat and not go for the second goal, which I don't understand because last season we go 1-0 up with the second, third goals on the way, where this season it's been like, oh, we're 1-0 up, let's sit back. All of this control they're talking about. But go and get the second, third goal, finish the team off. Because at 1-0, teams are probably always thinking, still got a chance here. 100%. We can nick something. Do you know 100%. What I mean? And instead of killing teams off. So I think we need to find that spark that we had last season.
How many games can you say, bro? Forest, the first game of the season, 2-0 up. We concede this, I wouldn't say a silly goal, but it kind of is a silly goal when you're just so open and you leave yourself susceptible like that. When really you're cruising the game.
Yeah.
Fulham 2-1 up. Tottenham 1-0 up.
Yeah.
So there's various other games where we've gone 1-0 up, and I'm just like, why does it feel like we've kind of taken our foot off that gas that we've just stepped on 5 minutes ago to score that goal? It just feels like we're too. I don't know. That end of season kind of feels like it did, do some damage to both. I think Mikel's plans in the summer as well with that Havertz side. I mean, this. I don't even want to get into that because the amount.
I was thinking, can we get through the show without mentioning Havertz? But I don't think it's going to happen.
No, not on the first show, bro. It's a big part of the season.
That's going to be 10 minutes,
bro. When I say I don't want to,
seen a man on AFTV yesterday. Was that clip where the guy was saying he compared him to Henry or something? Or was that an old fan zone after a game, you and Laurie, and the guy was saying something about Havertz and Henry? Maybe it's an old clip.
I was definitely on that, yeah?
I think it was you and Laurie. It's on AFTV Extra.
Maybe, bro. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised, but you have to think about the amount of shit that I hear through these ears and the amount that I have to let go in one ear and out the other, because Henry?
Well,
the super chat. The super chat.
Oh, it's a super chat. Yeah, that's it.
Super chat. Oh, yes. Yeah. That was yesterday. Something about Turkish and Laurie would have wanted Henry out on loan if there was YouTube back in the day or something. I'm just like, how you
them comments.
How are you gonna compare that? It's this day and age is mad. I never saw it coming. Like, even remember last year or 2 years ago where Henry kind of came out and spoke honestly about his feelings about Arsenal and Arteta, and then I'm on Twitter and they're ripping him.
I couldn't believe it.
And I'm looking at, bro, do you know who Henry is to this club? And you're just dragging him through the mud because you disagree with his opinion. That it's and look at Henry now. Look at Henry's opinion of Arsenal now. Very different to what it was then. So it's not like he was one of these people that one might call a negativity merchant or always wants to find the negatives. No, he was speaking honestly, and that's why the fans have to relax a bit as well.
100%.
Yeah, this whole
someone said to me yesterday in the comments after the game, this is what I found so crazy about Havertz. He said Havertz didn't do anything wrong. And I said, that can't be the basis for judging him as a player. He didn't make any mistakes. Like, I saw a couple of times in the game yesterday, he was rolling around the floor when there was hardly any contact, and the ref's telling him to get up. And you've seen him in America, bro. He's a big guy. He ain't no small little player. So I said, we can't buy a player for £65 million and walk around saying he didn't do anything wrong. Like, what did he do well? What did he bring to that game yesterday? We beat a team 5-0 yesterday, and Havertz didn't get an assist, and he didn't get a goal, and he didn't look like scoring at any point. And I actually think Smith Rowe, I've been saying for a while, I think Smith Rowe should be playing ahead of him. I thought Smith Rowe looked lively yesterday. He didn't do too much, but when he got the ball, he looked energetic. Obviously, the West Ham bid's been rejected. I would rather see Smith Rowe in that left attacking 100%. Midfield role than Havertz. But because of the price tag, he's just forcing the issue, isn't he, at Arteta?
Yeah, I've said the Smith Rowe thing for the last couple of weeks because it doesn't look like we're buying anyone, and we'll talk about the window soon enough. Not that there's much to talk about, but if I'm looking at internal solutions, I've seen Trossard. Listen, people might say it's a Havertz agenda. Listen to this. I've seen Trossard play 8, and he's been shit in the 8. He hasn't been good enough. And no one can say I've got an agenda against Trossard. I've praised him a hell of a lot more than I've criticized since he's come to the club. But the 8, I've seen Trossard not perform well enough. Vieira not perform well enough. Havertz, not perform well enough. Emil Smith Rowe's the only one I haven't seen. And listen, I'm not going to overhype his performance off the bench yesterday. But the reason you mention it, the reason I've mentioned it already on Fan Zone as well, and the reason other fans will mention it is because the bar is so low in that position at the moment that when we see a guy come on and show a bit of energy, show a bit of passing and movement, show a bit of guile, show a bit of showing himself for the ball. He wants the ball. That goes a long way because the bar is low. We're failing to see that. And Smith Rowe come and do that, yes, but we still want more. But there's a little light there that maybe Arteta can do something with what he has. But Havertz, that reason you said, people always say, oh, but Saka played poorly as well, or Martinelli played poorly as well. Okay, that's cool, and I agree. I do agree. I think Saka was poor yesterday. I also said it, but why is that the common rhetoric or reply when someone like me criticizes a Havertz? Oh, but Saka didn't play as well. All right, we can talk about Saka in a sec. Let's park that off. But what about this guy? Yeah, and I'm not even gonna. Listen, I want him to prove man wrong. I can't believe we signed him. I want him to prove man wrong. But he is the highest paid player at the club. And do you remember when I used to say about Ozil, 350k, and people used to call me an accountant and that?
Yeah.
I'll say it again. 5 years later from, saying the same thing about Ozil, once you sign on that dotted line and you see that you're going to be the highest paid player at this club, you see the amount of wages you're signing for. If you can't handle the pressure and you don't want to step up, then ask for less. Say, cut it in half. Cut it in half. Just ask for less. Because then I'll be like, you know what? He's on 130k. Like, is it fair for me to continually get onto an Eddie Nketiah who I don't think is good enough, who's on 100k and he's a backup, when we've got someone on near 300k who's being played week in, week out in different positions, but is failing to deliver? And yes, the season's not over to anyone, all the over positive merchants in the chat. The season's not over, but the reason that I'm predicting third now, or the reason that Curtis is saying it's a must win at Anfield in a couple of weeks, is because Arteta's got a few things wrong this season, and Havertz is a big one of them.
No, you're spot on. Listen, one thing I've realised with part of the Arsenal fan base, not all, but part, we don't like brutal honesty in this fan base. Like, some of the fan base seem to think that every player's got to be celebrated as being really good and the manager's amazing and everything's perfect. No, if things were perfect, we wouldn't have gone 20 years without winning the title. We wouldn't have never won the Champions League. We wouldn't have gone 30 years without winning the League Cup. If we're brutally honest, right, Havertz has been a terrible signing. Terrible. Like, when you look at the market this summer, this was one of the best number 8 markets that we've seen in years. You could go whatever kind of number 8 you want, it was available. Yeah. You know what I mean? You want Maddison, you want Szoboszlai, there were others. You get Kudus on the right. Whatever you needed, it was there. Xavi Simons left this summer, although there was a buyback clause. So, yeah, that was difficult. But there was players left, right,
man. And Milinkovic-Savic.
Milinkovic,
I know he went Saudi and the money
Come on.
Bro, Yuri Tillemans, free transfer. Ripped me last year when I said, hey, he's a free transfer. Just bring him on as rotation. Bro, we signed someone that I believe is worse.
I agree. But the thing is, what we'll do, listen, every Arsenal fan wants him to do well because he's here. We got no choice. Every time you see him play, you think, I hope this brother scores and does well. But there's nothing there, people. He's not like Kevin Campbell was arguing, going, yeah, but we were top of the league a few weeks ago. But it's in spite of him, not because of him.
Yeah.
He's not like costing us goals by, he's not doing things that are costing us the game, but he hasn't improved us. He's not better than Granit Xhaka, and we wanted Xhaka out of this club for a number of years. Now we're so desperate, we're saying, yo, I'll take Xhaka back, and that's not because we want Xhaka back. That's because we're like, this guy costs 65 million. He's worse than the guy we've wanted to replace him for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how crazy Arsenal is as a club. But the problem is, a lot of the fan base won't just admit it online and go, do you know what, man? Havertz ain't good enough. Let's put that pressure on the club that you've signed him. You've got it wrong. We don't rate him. He's not helping us. Yeah, anytime he's in the shirt, we'll support him because he's here. What's the point? We're not going to boo the guy. But the club have to realise that that's an L. You've got to put him on the bench. Bring him off the bench in games where maybe you're chasing a goal because he has got a decent ability to get into goal-scoring situations, but he's not the guy. I think Arteta at times, he wants to be seen as this sort of like rescue mission, like I can save people or I'm going to find the next. You know what I mean? He doesn't really sign ready-made talent. It's like, oh, Sambi Lokonga's the new Yaya Toure. Do you know what I mean? Havertz, I'll get him to what he was at Bayer Leverkusen. That's what I believe he was thinking. I can get that Leverkusen Havertz back. It's just he was at Chelsea. They don't attack the same way. I'm going to rescue him. No, you can't, bro. You know what I mean? You can't. He is the player you've watched at Chelsea for 3 years. Do you know what I mean? That guy.
Someone in the caps in the comments said RSPCA thing.
Bro, I've been saying it for time. We're a rescue center right now. You know what I mean? Rescuing strays from Chelsea, bro. How many times you need to get burnt by Chelsea? And you go back there. And the crazy thing is, like, we spoke to Edu in America and, he was saying things and giving us a bit of insight. But you have to wonder how the owner, Edu and Arteta, sat down and okayed that deal. Because even if Arteta was the one saying, I think I can save him, I feel like the owner's got to say, I can't sign that check. If you know enough about football and you're the owner and you care about Arsenal, you should be saying, bro, I know you want Havertz, but I've watched the Premier League the last 3 years. This guy ain't it. I can't give you 65 million for him. Or Edu. How can you have a midfielder in Edu and a midfielder in Mikel Arteta, but their ability to pick midfielders is madness? I saw a stat the other day. Arteta spent £307 million on midfielders since he's been at the club. 307 million. Declan Rice, Havertz, Sambi, Jorginho.
Partey.
Do you know what I mean? Partey as well. 307 million. Yeah, we're going into the summer transfer window going, you need a centre mid to play next to Declan Rice because Partey might go, El Neni might go, Jorginho. We still probably need an attacking midfielder. Fabio Vieira as well, who we signed. Fabio hasn't done it. Havertz hasn't done it. So you need to spend probably another 100 million on a midfielder. So you're telling me you got to spend 400 million to fix the midfield, and you're 2 centre midfielders there doing Arteta. So it's crazy. It's mad.
Whilst we're walking a tightrope with FFP, which is what's fucked it. Which is why the player we've just been talking about will always be a topic of conversation until that isn't the case. The wages, people can say accountant and stop, pocket watching that. Bro, I don't care what a man is on. I just know that if you're on the most, then I'm going to expect the most from you. I think that's just a simple rule in football. If you're paid the most, then, the expectation is that you're going to be the key figure in one way, shape or form, whether that's leadership, whether that's being the goal scorer, whether that's being the defender that's come in and stabilize the whole defense or the goal, whoever it is, I don't care. Just do what you need to do to justify somewhat the money that you're on, somewhat, because it's hard to really justify any of it, to be honest with you, when you think about how much they're on. But you see, Alisson and Van Dijk, That was the last two pieces to that Liverpool original puzzle that Klopp needed to get over the line. And, you know, they got over the line in quite a few things along the way. I feel like now, especially because the FFP thing is a problem, that our last two pieces of the puzzle, we bought the wrong piece. And that now means that by the time we are thinking about the next final pieces of the puzzle, we're also thinking about Partey's replacement. We're also thinking about the contracts of Martinelli, Saka, and Saliba again. Because I don't forget that them man all signed till 2024. Don't get it twisted. When they signed, I was happy because I just needed them to sign. We didn't need a summer where we need to, you know, get a couple of additions and their contracts too. No, I was so happy they signed, but I noted that all of them, I think, Martinelli, Saliba, and Saka, and maybe even Odegaard, signed till 2024. Not 2024, sorry, 2020. They signed 4.5 years, so 2027.
Yeah.
Which would mean that in a year,
there's 2 years left.
Next season, they got 2 years left. And we all know now that that's when the power shifts. That's when, you know, you ain't, it's not like 10 years ago where, all right, even in the, you know, going into the last year, the clubs still have some, you know, a lot of the power. Not anymore. So we've got to get things rolling in a sense of winning majors, because Saka probably does love it at Arsenal. He loves coming through having come through the academy, similar to, you know, Saliba probably loves it now at the club because the fans love him so much. You can see when we score and when we get how much it means to him. Martinelli, same thing. He speaks. But if we don't start delivering, you know, these men ain't going to be, they're young play. They're not going to be young players forever. They're going to be players that want to seek, you know, major trophies. And that's why here in FFP is such a problem now. Bro, what can I talk about aside from where we've just spent our money? What assets we have left, and who's on the biggest contracts? That's the three things you can discuss. And in terms of assets we got left, the conversation doesn't really get any better. Because
you have to talk about it, because that's all we've heard for the last few months. And you make a great point.
Ramsdale used to be worth 50 mil. I'd say 50 mil would have been fair at the end of last season.
Last year,
Now 30 mil, back to what we paid for him.
Yeah, you'll get your money back for him. With Edu doing the deal as well. Come on, we're not notorious for selling players for more than they're worth. I said, like you were saying about that Alisson and Van Dijk window, I felt that window for us was in the summer, and I've spoke about this a few times. I think we built the platform to a point where it was like, if you get the right pieces this summer, we've got a real chance this season now. I think with Rice and Timber, they were the right ones. Timber, the injury is just bad luck. But the Havertz one, Raya, I think Raya's a good goalkeeper. It's just, did that money need to be spent there? Is he a significant upgrade? I don't think he is. I think you could have sat with Ramsdale for another year and maybe said, we'll look next summer and we look for a significant upgrade. Now the problem you've got, you're going to have Havertz at the club on huge wages. His value, I would say now, if you tried to sell Havertz in the market, I don't even know if you're getting half of what you paid for him with this form, with that wage.
Bro. It's a Lukaku story in terms of you loan, and then maybe you get 17 mil or 20 mil or 8. I don't know. You get something.
You're only getting him off the wage bill now. That's all you're getting. You ain't getting no real money for him. So
and no one's paying 100% of that. We would still, even a loan would have to pay 30, 40.
Yeah, we're gonna. So you're now looking at that going, well, where's your get out clause of that deal? And he signed a 5-year contract, by the way. 5 years. We're 6 months into it, so he's got 4.5 years left.
We locked down the wrong guy, man. What's going on?
Bro, I'm already tired, fam. I swear, I don't know where we're going with that one, but yeah, it's a mad one. And then, you know, you were saying there about people say, oh, you're an accountant, you're talking about the wages. And listen, like you said, I don't care what a player's getting, but the expectation is, if you're the top earner at the football club, I expect you to be one of the best players or a young player that's going to be a huge asset in the future. Man City's top earner, they're two top earners, De Bruyne and Haaland. You know what I mean? Man United's is Rashford. You know, Liverpool's is Mo Salah. Ours is Havertz. That doesn't make sense. Havertz is not even a top 5-6 player at Arsenal Football Club. There's half a dozen players or more who are better than him at the football club. So you have to wonder why they gave him that. But I think now I was kind of hoping that it was going to be, we just need a big striker. Go and get us that great goal scorer, and the puzzle's finished. But like you just said, because this season and how it's gone, you're now going to need a centre midfielder, because I think Partey will go in the summer. He's got a year left, big wages. I think they'll get rid of him.
Yeah.
El Neni possibly will go now. So you might need 2 centre midfielders in the summer.
Jorginho's contract's done.
Jorginho's contract's up. It wouldn't surprise me if he got a year, just because Arteta seems to love that guy. But
yeah,
he could go. So you need a centre-back probably to cover Gabriel and Saliba, because Kivior's not the answer. You may need a left-back, depending on how Timber comes back. And you need a striker. And you also need a right winger to challenge Saka. So it feels like we need a bigger window this summer than the one we had last summer. And how are we going to get around that without selling players?
And listen, people, I know we got super chats, people. I'm going to get to them, but there is some chat in the live chat that does catch my eye from time to time. So don't worry, the super chats are there saved. But someone replied whilst you was talking there, Curtis. Boy 10 says Patino and Nwaneri are 2 centre mids. We already have them. My thing is, listen, we can talk about Arteta and youth, and trust me, it does seem like a problem, but they are also not the answer in terms of the questions that me and Curtis are asking or trying to answer. 2 academy centre mids are not the answer right now.
Yeah,
it's quality needed and experience quality. I think that's why when people said Benzema, ask him, would you take him? I don't know. I'd
all day
take him, bro.
Every day of the week.
Of course you take him.
Of course you do. Like we said, I think we spoke about it on Forever Arsenal, bro. I said, listen, the last thing you lose as a striker is your ability to finish. You might lose a yard of pace. You might not be as sharp, as strong. You give Benzema the chances Jesus is getting and Arsenal have been creating. He's finishing, bro. He's a goal scorer. He scored 19 goals last season in La Liga in 24 starts. You know what I mean? At the best football club probably on the planet. So you can't tell me 6 months later he's washed up because he's been in Saudi. Get him fit, get him sharp. Well, obviously, I think he's staying now. The money's big in it. But I always say the thing what frustrates me with Arsenal is when we need something, it seems like we ignore it, or we can gloss over it. Like if Man City needed a striker in January, they'd be buying a striker in January. Do you know what I mean? Because Pep ain't gonna go. We'll just go through 6 months. Like they would be in a position to go and get it. Do you know what I mean? Where with us, we've left ourselves in a situation, and I expected some creativity from Arsenal. I thought, okay, if you've got FFP and you can't spend, why isn't Eddie Nketiah getting sold in January? To get 25, 30 million off Palace or whoever would be willing to buy him. Why not sell Ramsdale if you're not going to use him and Raya's playing every week? You could have potentially raised 60 million there and gone and bought a striker. Or it's the fact we've just kind of said, well, FFP, we can't spend. We just won't do anything. We'll just go with what we've got. And I thought yesterday, and this is how pessimistic Arsenal has made me over the last 10, 15 years. We won the game and I was like, yes, 5-0, great football. Then I sat there and I thought, we're not buying anybody because they're going to go, we just won 5-0. Trossard scored. Martinelli's back. They'll go, oh, don't worry about a striker. Just get by with what you've got and we'll have a conversation in the summer. So it's like, you don't know where you stand with Arsenal, do you? You think on one hand, it's great, they're playing well, but on the other hand, what's it going to lead to and where's it going to take us?
100%, bro. And to be honest, I can continue this conversation on, but bearing in mind time, because I know we've got to come off at 9 p.m. GMT. Obviously, there's people tuning in across the world, but that's 18 minutes left. And I don't want to leave the super chats hanging. There's 1.8k in the building, so let's get up to 1,000 likes, people. Come on. David says, just call it what it is, bloody magic. And that was a very early super chat when we was talking about the show. Big up, David, man. Hope you're enjoying. Ryan says, call it the TNC show. Turkish, that name's a hit. We did think T's and C's. Obviously, terms and conditions apply. That's that's got a ring to it already. But TNC, Turkish and Curtis, CNT, Curtis and bro, just call it whatever. We're just going to be doing it.
Call it what you want, man.
Yeah, we're just going to be doing it. Appreciate that we finally got together and we're finally bringing a show. One day we might change the name. For now, the name is the name. 40.
Yeah.
I was about to say 40. 403 MC2 says, finally, lads, the Arsenal Galacticos formalize into a show. Congrats to both. Watch both your come up since day one. Love from
There you go.
Toronto. My guy, come on. Really appreciate that. And I've said it before, but I appreciate everyone that's remained subscribed here on this channel because it's been pretty dormant for months. I know I've come back recently, but big up, same way. Java says, just to show some love for the realist. Big up Curtis and Turkish. Come on. Big up.
Big up.
Love for the love. Rob says, big up C. Turkish jungle is massive. Come on, Rob. Come on. A lot of love, man. Just show my guy. Big up my guys from Supporters Club days with DG in the Moody AFTV studio. Turkish and Curtis. Yeah, do you remember that YouTube setup? That, yeah, with the massive chairs.
I used to love that, man. That was the YouTube studio was amazing.
It's memories,
bro.
isn't it?
Memories, man. The big cheers, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they were the good days, man.
Still. They had that little green room. Man would just sneak off, record a little video, and just try.
Yeah. Free food and drinks, and that it was nice there, man.
Good times. I took a few drinks home still. God says, do you think Arsenal can finish the season second, or is it going to be Man City? Because Liverpool are not going anywhere. Liverpool fan there. I'm not about to debate about us finishing second or third, because second or third are both losers. So, if it's not discussing the chance to win it, then I'm not really here for the discussion. We might as well move on to Champions League. JJ Ash says, big up Turkish and Curtis. Great tech team, lads. If we finish the season trophyless and just in the top 4, should Mikel stay, or do we allow, quote, one more season? For me, if you finish top 4, 10, 15 points off of the eventual champions, not good enough, and questions must be asked. But listen, this is my perspective. I don't think that scenario leads to any change in manager. But if you finish 3rd, 4th, and you're within 5 points of the eventual champions, that's very different. Still, you spent 200 mil, you finished second. Why didn't you get over the line? Still some questions, but less pressure, I'd say, going into next season if that was the case. Even though next season for me, people, I'm letting you know this now, Mikel Arteta will be manager going into next season. Like
he will.
I can already see questions from a few weeks ago during the form, and I can already envision these questions and Arteta outs and all this lasting through. Listen, the next season starts in August. We're in January right now, so these questions will roll over. He will be with us going into next season, but next season, someone else asked in the super chat, someone mentioned KSC, and I'll bring them in. Next season, we will kind of really know where KSC are in terms of their real ambition for the club, and whether this was just something that they'd done that worked, surprise, or whether, be excited was actually a thing. Because people are forgetting, and I ain't forgot. Be excited was 5 years ago now. Yeah. Do you know how many people have passed away in the last 5 years that you told to be excited? A lot of people have left this world, and you told them be excited, and they didn't leave excited. So looking at it right now,
that's real talk,
bro. 5 years, if you tell someone to be excited, you're expecting within 2 years some sort of, And I know
I'm still not really that excited. I can't lie.
Last year was exciting.
You know what I
mean? Last year was exciting. I'll say last year. Okay, cool. I got carried away a little. I thought something. Yeah, last year was. This year the excitement has kind of gone backwards. So
listen, seeing you wearing Arsenal merch on YouTube is like, I never thought I would see this again. I remember so many times, the new shirts come out, and I'm like, okay, I've fallen for the trap. New signing, new shirt. I'm like, yo, you got yours? And you're like, nah, bro, I'm not wearing that. Bro, seeing you in the full tracksuit, I'm like, yo, we're overcoming some barriers here still. We're getting there, but
yeah. That that's me noticing a change. That's me noticing it. Because I'm not a glory hunter. Like, if I was a glory hunter, I would have supported United, like a lot of these London United fans in the 90s did. I'm not a glory hunter. I never said once we win a title, then I'm gonna buy a shirt. No, just be competitive, and we are finally competitive. Don't get it twisted. Even though there are things to moan about right now, if I compare now to 3 years ago, January, I'd much rather be in the mood and play something now with Arsenal than I was 3 years ago. So yeah, but at the same time, when bars are raised, when standards are lifted, Mikel Arteta said from very early that Arsenal should be challenging and winning major trophies. I don't think it's too harsh, because I see a few comments, Dave Jordan, I see you there as well. I don't think it's harsh to moan or feel away if things are not going in the right direction, or seemingly so. Oh, let's get into that super chats anyway. Aran says, "Yo, Turkish, what you saying? Been a while. Arsenal has been so frustrating the last couple of weeks. I needed a break from football. I feel like we've gone backwards this year, and I think people need to accept it." Big up, Aaron. All good. All good. Even with Arsenal this weekend, all good. But in terms of the form that we've been in, it's hard. And I'd say we have gone back. I don't think you saying feel like. I don't think it's a feeling that we've gone backwards. Points less, goals scored less, goals conceded more. I mean, it's pretty factual that we have. And in terms of eye test as well, we're not as good on the eye test. So all the metrics, I'd say, kind of falls into us going backwards. I Am King says, but what was the problem with Ramsdale? He makes saves and he's good on the ball. Money being actually, that's what I was going to say to you during the Ramsdale talk. 27 mil of next financial year's budget has already been spent.
Yeah.
And yes, we might get 27 mil back from Ramsdale deal, but then you ask yourself, was the whole thing worth it? Has Raya really up the levels like he was meant to have, when we had a goalkeeper that we could have probably got 50 M's for if you really did want to move on for him at the right time? I don't know. Do you do you think there's a big difference?
I really don't. I think they've got different qualities. Like you saw yesterday on the goal that Trossard scored, that Raya's distribution is good. It's something he's known for. But then, like I said, against Liverpool, Ramsdale played a 60-yard through ball to Reece Nelson. And listen, I don't mind any Arsenal player being upgraded. I'm not overly I'm not a big fanboy of any player at Arsenal that much. But I said, if you're going to upgrade Ramsdale, get a world-class goalkeeper or someone who's on that trajectory. I don't look at David Raya as that goalkeeper. I think he's a solid Premier League goalkeeper with good distribution. I think he is a good keeper. I worry a little bit about his height. I think he's 6 foot, which for a goalkeeper in the Prem is quite small nowadays. But I don't know if he is better than Ramsdale. I genuinely don't. I think, on the ball, he's very calm. He can spray passes. Is he a better shot stopper? Is he? I always think a goalkeeper has to be a big personality as well, because goalkeepers in general are they're totally different to other players on the pitch. And I just always felt Ramsdale had a lot of character about him. He's a wind-up merchant. He celebrates with the defenders. There seemed to be a good chemistry with the defense with him. I just don't know if he needed to break that apart this season. I think that money should have gone elsewhere, but Ramsdale will be gone in the summer, in my opinion. I just don't think he'll be. We'll have to sign. We'll actually have to sign 2 keepers, because you'll sign Rail, Ramsdale will go, and then you've got to sign a backup goalkeeper. So you've caused carnage. You know what I mean, to get Raya in the team, but
that's the problem with it. Like, it might be a minor upgrade, but you see how you described Raya in terms of a good Premier League keeper, and the exact same description goes for Ramsdale. So was it worth it? Is it going to be worth it? These are all big questions, because we've talked about Havertz. The only reason we talk about Havertz more than this is because that was 65 M's. But the reality is this is 30 M's of next year's financial sheets. So it has an impact on what we can do moving forward, which at the time seems very little, because we can't even maneuver and move in January. Bo says, big up both of you legends. Always watching Arsenal games with Curtis on the side and Turkish when he's doing the AFTV streams. Big up CT unit. Nah, Curtis is C unit. I'm T block. We've linked up, and that's what it is, people. That's what it is. You got to represent both.
Vibes, man.
Come on. And you said Drills and Cams earlier. Come on, Dipset in the building as well. That's the free OGs. That's
the free New York.
We got Wu-Tang in
Mob Deep. Mob Deep as well.
Yeah, Mob Deep. Yeah. Before I know Jashar's an old school Harry. Before he gets vexed with me for not mentioning a couple, he probably still going to mention a couple of that. Pistachio says, bless up Curtis, Cruz, Turkish, baby Turkish, and this whole community. Come on, love for the love.
Big up, man.
T and C unit. Show is destined to be huge. Call it terms and conditions. That is the idea behind it. Maybe we will.
It
Maybe
can
we'll.
move. You know what I mean? We're just
Yeah,
starting. It
just seeing.
can be
Yeah,
edited if it needs to be.
that's part of the reason it's delayed for 2 years, because we both
Exactly.
wanted to have a thumbnail, a logo, and all of that, and a name for it. And just the other day, we said, "Nah, we just got to give it. We just got to give it to the people."
Yeah.
Cliff says, "Great show, lads. You may as well talk about next season because we ain't finishing second or third, and we're gonna do soddle in the Champions League. What, this season? We're not finishing second or third. Is that what you're saying, Cliff? Or I assume that's what you're saying. Potentially. I mean, that would be. Listen, not finishing top 3. That's where big questions should be asked. But I don't envision not finishing top 3. I don't think it's out of this world, because Tottenham are doing well, Aston Villa are doing well. I wouldn't put it past other teams to be in and around it, but I'm pretty confident of the top 3, which is nothing. I'm not saying I'm confident about third being something.
It's still not what we want, is it?
Nah, that's what I'm saying. So really, maybe it is time to talk about next season. Rickens says, "Big up, my guys. Do you think Arsenal can do better chasing the title instead of leading the way? Slightly less pressure chasing compared to leading the way." What do you think, Curtis?
See, the problem with that is, I think if you're chasing City, when have City been top and someone's caught them? Do you know what I mean? It don't happen. When they've got that, they hang on. That season, Liverpool won the league. City kind of fell off and just slipped away. But I think when City are top, you're not catching them. So I'd rather be top being chased, and hope that we'd learnt from what happened last season. So I'd definitely rather be top.
I think the pressure of chasing when the expectation is a title is probably more pressure for me than what was on them last season, because last season, even though we had a lead, I don't think it was ever a lead that I was ever confident that would win us the title. Hence why I never predicted us to win it, because 5 points to City, even though it was 8, they always had a game in hand when it was 8.
Yeah,
that's only a 2-game swing, and no one expected Arsenal to do it. The expectation rose throughout the season. This season, the expectation going into it was already high, so it's kind of a different.
Do you know what? I don't know if you saw, there was an interview. It came out a few weeks ago with Grealish and Haaland, and they were talking about the title running last season. And Grealish was saying they always believed that they were going to beat us at the Etihad. He said Pep kept saying, as long as we're within 6-7 points, and we got that game at the Etihad, Grealish was saying they, in the changing room, they always believed, well, we're going to beat them at the Etihad, and that'll cut it down to maybe 3 points. And then are they going to be able to handle the pressure? Because City had a better goal difference as well. So he said, once we get within 3 points, it's one game in the back of it. And I just thought it was interesting that he was speaking like saying they just knew that they were going to beat us. I just thought that's a narrative that we got to change. Obviously, we beat them at home this season, so you hope they don't feel that same way when we play them at the Etihad.
Yeah, that's why I say we need experienced players that have been there and done it. To get that sort of arrogance in, because arrogance can be arrogance is a good thing to a certain extent when you're a sports person. You need a certain. Every great player has a certain level of arrogance. Even a Lionel Messi, who a lot of people think quiet, like he's got a certain level, and I think we saw that at the World Cup with that. What was it with Weghorst? That little incident, which was out of character for a Messi. But we've seen moments. Every great player, sports person, personality, boxer, whoever has that kind of arrogance. And I don't think we have a player that deserves to have that sort of arrogance, because we haven't really got a player that's been there and done it. Been at the highest level consistently. So I think that's something we miss as well. SC Guna says, my 2 favorite creators together. I've been wanting this for a while. Big up Turkish and Big C, my guy. Hope you're good, man. Hope you're good. SC Guna, he's always supporting the thing as well.
Yeah, man.
Usman says, similar. My 2 favorite Arsenal creators. Come on, big up. Been wanting this for time, and the show's been worth the wait. Stay blessed, stay shameless. Come on. Big up Usman. Factual Guna says, Arteta got rid of Emi Martinez, the biggest personality of all. He can't handle big players, which is why we won't win anything big. That's the truth. Potentially. Oh shit. Potentially. You're right, because I think we're at a stage now where, a big player coming through the door with a big personality, that arrogance and so on, could be the defining factor between getting over the line and not. I'm gonna say it again. Arsenal's name better be bidding for Mbappe this summer. I'm not saying we get him.
Mate, I
just want
tried
to
asking him that question.
Yeah. And fans tried to get onto you for asking that question. I'm thinking, what do you want to ask? Eddie Nketiah's fitness? Nah, bro, go and put pressure on about Mbappe about Nketiah's fitness. I don't care about that.
Bro, do you know what? That question was more like, I kind of knew Arteta wasn't going to give me an answer because he never really talks about transfers. But my thing is, like, why, when a player of that ability is available, are we not in the conversation? That's what I want to know. We left Highbury to say we compete with the biggest on the planet. Mbappe's with Haaland is the best striker in the world. He's out of contract in the summer. We're desperate for a striker. We should be in the running, even if we can't quite get him because Real Madrid, which would be understandable. But if you said to somebody now, I think Arsenal should try and sign Mbappe, they'd laugh. They'd go, yeah, that's crazy. You can't get him. But why can't we get him? Our owner's worth $15 billion.
I lie.
He can pay him £1 million a week. That ain't going to affect him badly. Yeah, he's spending millions on his basketball team. He's building a new train track in Inglewood that's going to be nearly $1 billion. He's building a new training ground for the LA Rams, nearly $250 million. This guy has got money. His wife's got money if he needs to just, the money's in that house. But, when we have that conversation, people go, we can't go for somebody like that. But why not? That's where we
there. What's the word? What's the word when people are that over years of the same thing happening? People are. It's not processed. It's programmed.
I know what you're saying.
People have programmed themselves perfectly for the club. Like, you are right. When you break down what does it take to buy a big player, listen, our history is great. European, no, but our history is great. We're one of the biggest clubs in England. That's a tick. One of the biggest fan bases. That's a tick. Big stadium. That's a tick. Big sponsors. That's a tick. Big owner with big money. That's a tick. Great, great city in terms of if you've got money to burn and if you've got time to spare, London is amazing. Tick. We tick every box apart from some fans that will turn around and say, you're having a laugh. I might be having a laugh. That's cool. But if I get told we're moving into the Emirates to compete with Bayern Munich, I'm also thinking off the pitch too. And I know that statement's laughable now. I know, they pulled the pants of the fans down at that time. Was saying that. But I'm still going to hold the club accountable to that. I'm still going to say, all right, 20 years on now, if I'm moving into a stadium to compete to make more money, at least try and get the best player in the world who's on a free contract. At least try to get the best player in the world who's on a free contract, who probably watched Thierry Henry growing up, who probably knows what the 14 means, who probably speaks to him once in a while even now. Who knows? Who knows what might happen out of it? I can't lie. I don't expect it, but just seeing Arsenal's name there, and I don't mean Arsenal's name from one of these,
ITKs
Jacobs or like whoever these ITKs. I don't want to see. We tried. I want it to be slap bang official. If it's Romano or Ornstein saying it, all right, fair enough. There's some clout to it, but just try. If we don't try, then how are we gonna level up, really? But let's move. Pistachio says you gotta be careful this show doesn't surpass the big six for real. Curtis, sorry I've never left a super chat on your channel. This collab got me kind of gassed. First super chat I've ever left. Not gonna lie, it was long. I love Pistachio. Listen, super chats are not a must, people, and we do appreciate it. Listen, me and Curtis are going 50-50 on this show. It's gonna be on my channel for this season at the very least. We'll assess it in the summer. We'll see where it's at, what it needs, how we can maneuver it moving forward. But like Curtis said, we're also going to do some pre-recorded bits of content too. And look, I can read you like a book
with the old school hip hop again.
80s, Eric B and Rakim, KRS-One, PE, LL Cool J, Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Cool G Rap, old school rules. You see, I'm just the generation after all of that, and I say my generation rules, but It is what it is.
One
It
thing
is
I've
what it is.
realized, and you know what? I don't need to finish at 9. We can go another 15, 20 if you want. We're just warming up, man.
Say
But
no more.
one
Say
thing
no
I
more, bro.
realized, you always revert back to your own generation, don't you? Because you know when we was
Yeah.
young, like the elders were saying, and you used to say, "Oh, that's some old man talk, man." You're just saying that, but now I'm saying it to my son, like he's like, "Oh, this, little TJ and all that," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's all right, but it ain't what
You
we
see,
was listening to."
when we was growing up, Curtis, the argument was commonly Jay-Z, Nas.
Yeah.
But then you'd hear the old heads come and say, "Oh, they're nothing on Rakim," or some of these names here. But Rakim used to be a one that was used quite often. Who else as well? Big L was used quite often.
Yeah.
Now, when we tell our young'uns that Jay-Z and Nas are the guys, Jay-Z and Nas are the Rakims and the Cool G raps that we was being told them times. It's mad.
Yeah.
The youth are looking at them like, no one wants to listen to these old heads. Especially when you look at music now, bro. If you look at that, I think that's a difference as well. Music now, hip hop now, it's finished. It's not rap. It's definitely not rap.
It's not really lyrics no more, is it? It's vibe. No. It's like it's nightclub music now. It's all that. We was listening to slow lyrics, and even lyrics wasn't enough. You was like, yo, if this guy ain't really what he's saying, I'm not interested. You know what I mean? But now it don't matter. You know what I mean? Man are snitching and coming out, and their album's blowing up. No one cares, bro.
I'm glad you said that whole. If you're not like, authenticity went a long way back in the day. It went ahead of a long. Now you don't need it. You don't need an ounce. You don't need a bit of it. You're calm. Just make something up. Crazy. Have the right stylist. Do the right sort of hair, and do your thing. You'll probably get a little fan base. Man, I'm saying Drake over Nas. This is what I'm saying. This is
that's like the Havertz Henry comparison.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what it is. That's actually what it is. And to be honest, I think we're disrespecting Drake compared him to Havertz. That's how much I don't rate Havertz. But Pistachio says, I don't think anyone here could listen to any other pair moaning about terms and conditions for this many years. Kurdish Delight, too sassy, innit? Kurdish Delight doesn't. When I'm saying it, it just doesn't sound right. Kurdish Delight.
It's not, man. It's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It don't sound right. It don't sound right. And it's better no gimmicks. It's better no. Who said that back? Who started that tune back in the day? Old school. Something about Obi Trice. You remember Obi Trice?
Obi Trice, yeah, I remember Obi, man. I think he got shot in the head, didn't he? Obi Trice.
He might have, He might have. I remember he had a few funny tunes, so people on the surface used to think he was dead. But
yeah,
now I'm trying to think of his funny tune. Was it Got Some Teeth?
Got Some Teeth. I remember that. Yeah, I remember the video. The girl was them old school tunes. D12 and Eminem. Obi Trice.
Real name, no gimmicks, Martin. Yeah. That's it. Real name, no gimmicks.
There it is. Yeah. Obi Trice.
Obi Trice, real name. Hey, this is where this show can go. I don't want this show to just be football. I want this show to be football, music, culture, whatever.
Bro, we might even have to do a hip hop show, late night hip hop show one time.
We might have to, bro. I can't lie. Tobes has said some crazy things on Big Six, so I'm thinking that for the Big Six, when we open the membership, I'm thinking for the Big Six. Remember them versus things that was going on during lockdown? I'm thinking something like that. Make it for members. Forget copyright. One side, clash. Put the 10 biggest tunes you think from that artist. Put the 10 biggest tunes you think from that artist. Yeah, because Tobe said Kanye over Nas, bro.
I remember. I switched off. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't listen.
He makes me sick.
I was in a lot of pain hearing that.
Bro, and Tobe's is a cool guy, but that tarnished his name. He doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know it.
The Tottenham thing's bad enough. Then you say that, it's like, bro, man, what the hell are you talking about?
Trust me. Dropped a couple too many times as a kid.
Yeah.
Cat isn't Turkish. The best duo, says Ross. The streets need this. Let me tell you both this. The hip hop back then will get you so hyped. You want to rob your own pad.
Bro, I remember back in the day, obviously you've seen that picture with me and 50 at that concert, yeah. I remember back in the day, man used to say, like, when Many Men was that was the anthem, wasn't it? I remember man in the end saying, yo, like, I want to get shot. Like, Rob, I'm telling you, there was man in the end saying, Yo. but survive though. Obviously, just
Man
a little,
said
you know,
9
something
times.
through your hand or
I
something.
could handle one.
Yeah, man, just said just a little in and out, you know, pause through the hand or something, just so I can say, yo, I know the pain of that song. You know what I mean?
Bro,
I said, bro, we'll
it's
never know
crazy.
that pain, man. I said the other day, that was the only time I wore Reeboks in my life, bro. G-Unit sneakers. I was wearing them summertime, baggy jeans, 2 sizes too big.
Double
It
XL
was
white
crazy,
tee.
man.
Bro. The belt
Fresh
not
white
even
tee.
done. The belt just hanging like either side, the buckle on bit. Bro.
It's not even on. I'm telling you,
If
man.
I
They
bring
don't
up
know.
pictures from when I was a youth, I don't know, bro. I was just I don't know what I was thinking. Triple XL white tees,
Yeah,
jeans,
yeah.
baggy. You know when the jeans used to be so baggy, yeah, that big up Josh in the chat as well, by the way. I see Josh. Big up Josh.
Yeah.
You know when it used to be so baggy that your step on the heel, like time
Yeah,
after
yeah.
time after time, that it used to start ripping and then
It's ripping at the back.
Bro, man, why was man doing this? Why was I
Bro, I
doing
was
this?
wearing a do-rag with a cap in summer. My head's hot. I'm seeing,
Bro,
yo, these do-rag, fam, with my cap on top of it.
And do you remember them caps was the proper caps? It wasn't these like style ones that it was the like
Straight peak, new era.
And then you used to have like I won't even. You remember the Cassidy and the Jay-Z ones where you just put it on the side?
I didn't really do the Cassidy thing with the hat, but yo,
I used to like
remember.
Cassidy a lot, you know. I used to do bro, I was a madman still.
It was all going off, bro. I'm telling you, it was mad.
Who said Fubu? Big up. Rockaware.
Oh,
Sean
Fubu,
John.
man.
Academics. Academics was another one.
Averex, Rockaware. It was all going on.
Averex is another one. I remember Avisu just coming out of nowhere. People just started rocking Avisu.
It was all, it was different, man.
Nah, man. I like the way this show started. It's just vibes.
We said, man, vibes thing first show, man.
Vibes, man. 100%. That's what it's the people show. It's the people show. That's what it is. It's the people show. Because the thing about me and Curtis, because when I watch Curtis, there's a lot of similarities to I see a lot of similarities in the way he built his community to the way I built mine, and we just engage. So it makes sense that the two people coming together with the community coming together. It's about you lot. So big up every single one of you. Another one here from Dime saying, had to send my first super chat. Come on, good to see. What do you make of Toney's performance? He looks like a safer option to Osimhen. Well, we was going to mention that actually, and with about 5 minutes to go, we might as well.
Well, we can run another. We'll go to 1/2 past, man. Run it, just run it, man. He can go school late.
tell little man sorry.
You know what I mean? We got things to talk about, bro. You know, we ain't even talked about the transfer window. Arteta, I got to talk.
Say no more.
Bro, I've been saying for a while, and you know, it's been a debate on the channel. I've said for a long time, and I could be totally wrong with this. Yeah, I don't know how good Osimhen really is. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if he's as good as the hype is around him. Like, I watch him, and I'm like, I've never watched Osimhen and really been like, wow, what a player. And I think when you're spending 100 million on a striker, you should see something that's like incredible about him. You know what I mean? I could be totally wrong. He bags in the Champions League. He's won the league in Italy, so maybe he can go to the very top. But I don't know. I just don't know with him. You know, you see Tammy Abraham go to Italy and score 20. You look at Lukaku, the way he bullies up that league, and he comes to the Prem and struggles. So Toney, for me, will probably, I think he'll cost half of what Osimhen will cost in the summer because he'll have a year left.
Yeah,
I think the plan is for him to stay there, keep them up, leave in the summer with a year left. I think 50, 60 million with a year. I think he's a safer bet than Osimhen. I actually like Isak at Newcastle. Okay. I think he's a very good player. I wasn't sure about him in Spain because I got a bit caught up in the goal record. Like, this guy ain't really hitting the net enough. But seeing him in the Prem, I like him. You know, he's a good player, but he would be expensive. But I like Toney, man. I just think Toney's got that aggression. He's ready-made. I had an argument with someone on Twitter, which, you know, when do we never argue with someone on Twitter? You know, this guy was saying, I said, get Toney to the carpet. He goes, he's a cheat. You know, he's got banned, and even on the free kick, he was cheating. He moved the ball. I said, bro, that's the kind of dark arts I want to see at Arsenal, bro. Move it when the ref ain't looking and bend it in the bottom corner.
I like the fact he moved it more than I like the free kick in itself. I like that bit of, well, do that.
Bro, not only did he move the ball, he scooped up the little foam thing that the ref sprays and even rolled that down as well. He made it look like the ball was here, ref, all along. You know what I mean? I love that. Get Toney to the carpet, man.
You know what? I'm with you, though, because I have called for Osimhen in the summer because
I know you have, yeah.
To be honest with you, my thing is I look at the strikers market and I really like Openda. I've liked him since the end of last season. I think he was one that we missed out on in the summer. He went RB for 35 mil. Aside from that, I can't pinpoint another attacker that I know enough of to say that he'd have an impact. With Osimhen, I know that he misses chances, but I know that he's better than what we have. And it was more that talking than anything, because there isn't that out and out. If you give me this option, that's the option I want without a shadow of a doubt. Because Osimhen probably has his pros, cons, Toney, pros, cons, Evan Ferguson, pros, cons. I just think outside of them three right now, who else is there to entertain? Who else is in the conversation? Sesko?
They're all just like guys that have had one good season. Like, Sesko, you got Boniface, you got Evan Ferguson, but these guys are they're still so young in what they've done. So I feel like we don't need to sign somebody that's like, oh, in 2 years he's going to be a player, you know, Vlahovic. But he said publicly he doesn't want to leave Juventus. Is his dream club. They're in the title race. So for me, it's just, you know, I want Toney, bro, because I just think for what you're getting, I feel like I know what we're going to get from him. I think the risk is minimal. And I just think the guy scored 20 goals at Brentford. We create more chances than them. He's had a journey throughout football, got to Newcastle at a young age, came back ploughing down through the leagues. I think he was in League Two, Northampton. He was at, I think he went to Wigan and then he ended up at Peterborough, then got the move to Brentford. So I feel like he's done his apprenticeship, you know. And the fact he was publicly saying, like, I want to go to Arsenal. I want players at Arsenal that want to be at Arsenal as well, I think, rather than a Vlahovic that's like, I don't really want to be there, but Juventus have sold me because they need the money.
That's true, you know, because when Toney said it, I kind of brushed it off when he mentioned Arsenal. But when I really deep it, if he wanted money, he could have kept his mouth shut or mentioned Chelsea. So him mentioning Arsenal probably means that he sees how the fans can really, you know, support a player. He sees what the club maybe is lacking, and maybe he's Imagine I was going to say he's betting on himself to come in and be the missing piece. I
probably is.
Like maybe he is. Listen, don't cut no accusations here. No, don't
allegedly.
So that I rate. When I really think about it, that I rate. And listen, if we was to get him. I just don't want it to be a case of we go and spend the money on him and then we have nothing else for anywhere else, because I don't think he answers everything.
He doesn't.
That there is a risk factor involved, but there's a risk factor for any like we just said. There's no striker that we know, unless it's Mbappe coming in. We know we can't 100% say this person's going to come in and hit the ground running and bag 20 goals for you. We can't say that. Even with Toney, we can't say that for sure. But he is one of the more likely because he is ready-made. But there's no chance, bro. It's not happening this window.
No, nothing's happening this window.
Nothing
at all, bro.
But, remember a couple of years ago, Dennis Suarez, when Emery was telling us we've got no P's, and we've come full circle back to this one. At least our club's in a better place, but we're still missing something. I don't want to be hearing we're brass or we're tight on FFP right now.
Yeah, I'd rather we do nothing than bring in a signing like that, man. Them signings just make things worse sometimes.
Yeah. A few more super chats have come in as well.
Yeah.
Ricky says the best duo of the Arsenal community online. Love Ricky. Big up Turkish, big up Kurdish. It's a tongue twister as well. Big up Kurdish.
Yeah, it's all mad.
Turkish Curtis, please increase the frequency. 100%. It's only just started. If possible, get Troops and complete the trio. Listen, to be honest, I was meant to be on Troops' channel a couple of weeks ago, but I will shout him and hopefully we can sort something out. But it's taken us a couple of years to get to where we're at now. So we'll have special guests from time to time. That's what we'll do. Man, them. Ryan says, man, them can't stress how much I rate both of your content as a duo. The roads and football roads in general needed this. You two, along with Troops, have always been my top three. Couldn't separate you three. Come on, big up, Ryan, Ricky.
Big up, bro.
Essentially saying the same thing. We'll shout Troops as well. And they're saying a super chat, but do you remember the Scott jackets or Scott jackets?
Oh, amazing, bro.
Do you remember them? Different.
Bro, I had one.
You had one? Yeah. I
had one.
The grey one I had. Was it the grey one?
I had a black one. White writing.
For some reason, I'm thinking grey and navy, but that doesn't sound right. But yeah, Scott jackets were big back in the day. And the Che Guevara ones. Remember the Che Guevara ones with the picture of him, and then
on the back.
There was a flag on the army jackets. They used to bang.
Oh yeah. I never had one of them.
And remember the Nike that they brought out the thing with the American flag there underneath the Nike tick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't have that.
Blue one. No, nor did I. No. Pistachio says, you two can't start a music chat. My bank account won't make it till sunrise. Save it on Curtis's channel. Quote, I want to get shot. Bro, that's mad.
Bro, I'll tell you.
Ryan says, Turks, I need you to have words with Robbie and production. Man completely forgot to put my fan cam on Saturday versus Palace. Toney is a must. I'll have a word, but it's too late now as well, right? But I'll have a word so they don't do that again. Sam said, Toney scoring 20 in a Brentford side, impressive. However, Edu will rather sign an embryo from Brazil or shop in the Chelsea bins to save crony Eddie. Man said an embryo. Triple O says, anti-up by MOP still hypes me up, 100%. The way the tune starts is a mad thing. By the way, Martinelli should be the striker. He never convinced me as a winger, but his finishing and pace is solid. Martinelli's my guy. Are you not hearing this wind?
Bro, I that's what I said earlier. I thought my window was open. I said, what's going on here with this wind, bro? Bro, you know, nice. Just quickly on that, right? You know, years ago, I went to a 50 Cent concert in Nottingham, right? And this when he had Mobb Deep and MOP and Mace with him. So I go to the concert and I turned up late. So when I got in there, it was all dark. So I'm hyped. I'm thinking, oh, maybe 50's coming out, yeah? And these man came out with this. Do you know what I mean? And I swear, bro, they were because I was in the standing bit.
Yeah.
And there was some real like hip hop heads. I'm not really an MOP fan. I knew they're big hits in it. Big OGs like were like going mad yet, and they had like a mosh pit in there. And I was like, I remember coming out the concert, and I was like, yo, that MOP song was one of the best songs of the whole concert. I was just going mad, like, yeah.
Because some of the that's a banger, bro. That's a classic hip. What else did they have? Cold as Ice.
Yeah, it's cold as ice. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, cold as ice. Yeah.
Yeah. When listen, when you hear Anti-Up or a couple tunes from these select, because I'm like you, I didn't really listen to MOP like that, but you know Anti-Up, you know Cold as Ice, you know these bangers. But bro, I remember when I watched Locks, because Locks is probably my favorite. D Block's probably my favorite group of the lot.
We've had this convo before, haven't we? You love the Locks. Bro, see, I'm a Jada fan. You're more of a Styles P fan, aren't you?
P. Bro. Styles is my guy.
The ghost.
Styles P's the guy. The mixtape circuit, Styles. Listen, no one. I know Lil Wayne's got mixtapes on lock, but Styles is up there with Lil Wayne for mixtape circuit, in my opinion, anyway.
Jada for me, I just think Jada bar for bar. I think he's as good as any rapper in the game, lyrically.
I love Jada.
Sell the records, but
I like Jada a lot. There was just like, remember the authenticity thing, yeah. I think that's probably what edged it for Styles for me. Not that I'm saying that Jada ain't authentic, but Styles was like, I just could imagine like if them man got problems, Styles is the one that is leading the charge to sort it out. Yeah. Even the way him and 50 when he was on radio, wasn't he? He was getting on to 50.
Him. Yeah. It was him, wasn't it? Yeah. But bro, look at Jada in the versus battle, man.
That's true.
And we both love Dipset as well, but that was a masterclass, bro. That was true. Like, yo.
That's true. And to be honest, Styles, I'm surprised Styles didn't finish Cameron for that kick in the chest. Because remember there was
I
that
know.
moment where, bro, I'm surprised, bro.
I
I'll
think
be honest, I'm
Sheik said
surprised.
that in an interview on the Breakfast Club. He was saying he thought it was going to spill over when that was happening because Jadakiss threw
Crazy.
Joel Santana's bandana on the floor, didn't he? But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Cam kind of kicked Styles, didn't he? And he was like, but yeah, man, that was
What was
I
the
love the locks though.
what was the best verses? Was it the Beanie Man? Who was it with Beanie Man again?
Wasn't it Bounty Killer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it that one or was that the best verses?
For me, yeah,
The Locks one
my
was
two
too strong for
favorites,
me.
yeah. My two favorites personally was the Locks and Dipset one. I think it's the most memorable
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
I kind of like I like the Jeezy and Gucci one, you know.
Bro, that's the best one. That's the best one. That's the best one.
That was amazing.
Bro, that was
Gucci Mane's doing the diss track on him in front of him. Like, what are you doing?
Bro,
Like,
you know how tense that whole I was watching it thinking, when's it gonna come? Like, when's that tune gonna come? When's that tune? And then he drops it. And then even when he drops it, and then he drops the bars, and then the track is pulled, and then he's talking, he's like 6 feet in the dirt.
I couldn't
Smoking on that
believe it. And
logo
Jeezy's like telling him, like, don't do it. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, he don't care. Gucci Mane's a madman.
He don't care. He's like, if you don't want to talk, what are we gonna do? Bro, Gucci's something else, bro.
That was I love that one. I love that.
But I get it though. Like, it's all good and well for Jeezy to turn around now and be on the grown man thing, but you're the one that sent guys to his yard.
Yeah.
Like, he can be on whatever he's on for however long he wants to be on it, because he handled business, and then it is what it is. Yeah, that's probably the best one for me. But Locks Dipset, musically, Locks Dipset for me was the best.
Yeah.
But
imagine we was in New York then, bro. Do you know what I would have done to be in Madison Square Garden watching that?
Yeah, crazy. That was it. I'm smoking on Pokey tonight. That was, bro. Gucci violated in that 6 feet in
violence.
Crazy
madness.
There's more super chats here. Actually, one more. There is a few more, but one more just come in. Let the conversation flow. You saying on Big Six all the time, but this show just actually flowed from topics naturally. It did. The only problem with flowing is sometimes you can circle back to the same, which isn't a problem, to be honest. We've circled back to same topics over and over again. It's just that, look, 15 minutes ago, Curtis said, let's roll it to half past because we still got this to talk about, that to talk about, and that to talk about. And we've only got one of those that's out of the way. I know you said,
bro, we can run another 15, 20, man. I'm in it, man. Don't worry.
It's all mad. It's all little man. All right, let his school know. It's my bad.
I just heard the PlayStation turning on. He's playing NBA 2Ks. You know what I mean? It's all going.
He's enjoying. He wants you to continue. All right, say no more.
We'll keep going, man.
We'll let it flow. I've got more of these here. 4 more years of Havertz, Curtis Jones. I don't even want to entertain that conversation because I don't think it's even an option.
It's not.
If the project don't work, what do we do about the Kroenkes? Broski. I mean, again, look, I'm gonna circle back to one of the first times I met Curtis in Perth. Well, it wasn't one of the first. It was actually one of the first times. The Kroenke out protest. Curtis was in and around the place. What can we do about KSC if the project don't work? What can we do? The answer is nothing. And this is coming from someone that you know is on them. Is on them. But the fact of the matter, the Super League stuff was the one that got everyone together. Everyone came together for that, and that did kind of have an impact. But I don't think anything like that will happen anytime soon for the fan base to ever come back together, if need be, to pressure the owners.
Yeah,
I just don't see it. Always keeping it real. Bigger windows.
You see that?
What was it?
Salt Bay lorry.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I should have kept it up. Yeah, the edit's actually cold as well. Like lorries, it fits the thing well. Man said bigger window to fry in the summer.
Maybe we'll sign someone else from Chelsea, man, for 80 million.
Bro, crazy. Young Gunner says the show has arrived. It has. Come on, Gareth. Big up, lads. Glad to see you two linking up. Well overdue. Best hip hop album of all time. Blueprint for me. This is a very difficult. I could probably throw 3 names into a hat rather than pick you out a best because it's so hard. I do think Get Rich or Die Trying's up there in the conversation.
100%.
I think Get Rich or Die Trying.
It's a classic.
I think Stillmatic is for me personally. I know people a lot of old school ones prefer Illmatic.
Bro, do you know what? Yeah, I love the fact that you said that. You know, I love that album.
Stillmatic, cold.
Illmatic's probably the one they all talk about, but it's a bit older, isn't it? So the beats and the production's not quite as, it don't suit our ear as much. But Stillmatic, bro, with Ether and oh my god, like his Mastermind on that album. I'm not actually sure if it is it? Or is that on Godson? I'm not sure.
Godson's cold as well, though. Godson's cold. Stillmatic, Uchi Wally was the only one that was kind of
One mic.
Oh, bro, One Mic was different though, man. When you hear that, if you hear that come on, because I've seen Nas twice in concert, bro. One Mic is one of the ones that shuts the place down. Like, as soon as you hear
the flyest gangsters. Come on, are you crazy? You can't talk to that. No.
For me, Nas is the GOAT. Nas is the GOAT for me.
Oh my god, what a rapper.
Stillmatic, Get Rich or Die. What else is in the conversation? Jay-Z definitely has. Again, personally, I think Reasonable Doubt's up there. I think Blueprint is up there. But for me personally, I think Black Album was probably my favorite Jay-Z album.
Yeah.
Just all around for me was, sick.
Yeah, Black Album. Black Album's a good album. Yeah, Reasonable Doubt as well.
Yeah.
You know what? Jay-Z was one of them rappers for me. Like, it's like I appreciated him more as I got older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was younger, I liked Jay-Z, but it was never like one of my absolute favorites. And I think his beef with Nas made me pull away a little because I was a Nas fan. So when he tried, I was like, yo, bun Jay-Z for, you know what I mean?
Trust me.
As I got older, and the fact, you know, I mean, his maturity levels and stuff like that, and the way he raps, he's just like, he's one of the best in it now. So,
man used to ride for our favorite, like, bro. I used to rip Jay-Z. I used to take bars from Ether and be like, bro, look at what man said about him, bro, and he's not. Come on, man.
All Eyes on Me, Tupac. That's got to be up there as well for me.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Ready to Die is probably up there.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid 5. You know, we've just said.
5.
I think that's a very solid 5. I think after that, you might be doubling up on a couple of these artists before you get onto the other artists in terms of albums. But yeah, there's 5 for you, Harry. Oh, sorry, Marco. Imagine I said Harry. Why did I say Harry? There's not even a Harry on the screen. I'm going mad. Anti-Up remix. MOP still gets me hyped. Back in the day, remixes used to be cold as well because they'd actually remix the song. Nowadays, a remix is the same verses all around, but then one added verse on the end. Era says Toney's old school hip hop is the perfect man. Has guts. Talking about Toney there. Pull the intro, says Suleiman, and keep going like Hove told Freeway on What We Do, says Lamin.
Freeway, you know. If we start talking about the hip hop movies as well, oh my, we'll be here for 3 hours.
What State
Property and that.
State Prop 1 and 2.
Right. State Property with Beans.
Beans was cold. He was playing himself, but he was cold in both movies though.
Yeah.
Who else was it? There was other hood. State Property 1 was when they robbed Jay-Z's house, innit? And he's in the studio just.
Yeah. The first one's better, I think.
Yeah, I don't like this new feature. Man. It comes up at the wrong time, bro. Wrong time.
Thumbs up, banger, you know.
Have you seen Paper Soldiers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a hip hop movie, is it? But it's Kevin Hart in it, that one. But Beans is in that though.
Yeah.
Isn't Beans in that? Isn't Beans in Paper Soldiers at the barbers? Kevin Hart comes in, Beans comes out of jail, he's at the barbers, tells it, he is.
Beans is in it, yeah.
Paper Soldiers, he is in that.
Yeah.
But do you remember Cassidy smoked Freeway though? Do you remember that clash?
The clash. Yeah, he was way too good for him. Too good for him. He had bars for days. He was a battle rapper, wasn't he, Cassidy? So
yeah, that was his bread and butter. he just failed to cross. He had a couple hits. I'm a hustler, and
Yeah.
that's probably it. That was probably his biggest one.
Hotel with R. Kelly, man. You know what I mean? Them.
Oh well, you can't even bang that tune like we used to. It's all mad.
It don't sound the same no more.
It doesn't, bro. Man, don't want to. Yeah, I'm not at that hotel, bro. Just trust it. Public Enemies. It takes a nation of millions. Again, Public Enemy. I'm not really familiar with.
No,
I'm not really familiar with Jashar, but they're spoken about highly though. Off topic, but where exactly is the AFTV studio? You ready for the postcode? Get a pen, get a pad. What kind of question is this, bro? What do you want me to say? Give you the exact load line. That's all, man.
Just give him Robbie's number, you know what I mean? Just ring
it. You either get down or lay down. Trust me.
I might have to watch a hip hop film tonight. It's that kind of night.
I know. Yeah, to be honest, I've been watching Snowfall recently because I waited for that to finish. So I've just ended season 1. But it does remind me of the old school, like the Wires and the hood films and whatnot. They don't make them like they used to, man. Now you're bringing up Scott jackets. We'll be here all night. Curtis, find out Turkish tracky size offline so I can send him one with yours. Method, best rapper ever. Method man, I assume. Jada, unsung goat. Lupe too. Lupe Fiasco was cold, but he was destined. His trajectory was like, where's the camera? It was going up. Then all of a sudden it just went like down. And then I didn't really hear from him. But Lupe, because I used to like Talib Kweli and Black Star.
Most definitely them,
yeah. Common and so on.
Yeah.
And Lupe was kind of a bridge between them and then that new school kind of sound a little.
Yeah.
So I like Lupe, but 100% Method Man's called. Jada is definitely one of the
you know what? Yeah. Wu-Tang were one of the first like hip hop artists I listened to be honest, because my first like experience with hip hop was, you remember the old school cassettes back in the day?
Yeah.
My dad used to have cassettes lined up. So I remember like I got my own little, my mum got a new hi-fi. So I took, them big hi-fis with the big speakers, bro.
Double cassette player, the speakers. Yeah.
I had one of them. So every time your mum goes out, you're just blasting down the street, windows open and everything. So he had Wu-Tang Killer Bees album.
Yeah.
So I remember I put the tape in and I'm just blasting down the street. So Wu-Tang for me was always like important hip hop. I used to, remember Friday night used to be like Tim Westwood show.
Bro, yes.
I'd be recording that on a Friday over the tape. I'm winding the tape in, the things all coming out the bottom.
Bro. What was it? TDS? TDK?
TDK on it or something? They used to sponsor Palace, didn't they, or something?
Yeah. And then the car
Westwood.
Flip it around.
Flip it. I'm like, yo, he's playing the new hits, bro. I got to record this at 9 o'clock. It was mad, fam. I'm telling you.
That's what I used to do for grime. Did you used to be a big fan of grime or no?
Yeah. I had a zone, bro. Yeah. Wiley and Dizzy and Strider and all that, bro. It was going on. I used
to record 3-4 hour sets. Like I've still got a couple of those cassettes, it's mad.
Yeah. Classic.
Mad. One more super chat here saying, big up Turkish and Curtis. This is classic AFTV. I've actually seen Styles P and met Havoc in the same city years ago. Real down to earth. They come across down to earth as well. That's the thing about them. Like when you watch videos of them just chilling or talking about things amongst themselves in a group, it resonates with a lot of friendship circles. Like they just seem calm. Either of you at the Jay-Z Wembley gig? I didn't know there was a Wembley gig. I've seen Jay-Z at Ali Pali, Alexandra Palace, to the people that don't know the abbreviation. But yeah, Jay-Z for me is not.
It's not someone I'd rush to watch in concert. I don't think I would go, but
I've actually. Do you remember that? Funnily enough, do you remember that Forever? Do you remember the tune Forever Young, Jay-Z, Mr. Hudson?
Banger.
Do you know I'm in that video for like 0.5 seconds?
Oh, my head's got. I feel like turning the stream off,
bro.
How have you took all this time to tell us that,
bro? Because it's such a little bit, yeah. But man, waited hours after the concert because after the concert, they like when people were walking out, they was like, I think they was headhunting. They was like, do you mind waiting a few hours after to be in, potentially in the video? We'll pay you. I think it was £50 for your troubles. So me and a couple of brethren got pulled. Like, do you wanna? I was like, yeah, what, a Jay-Z video? And I think that's the one where Rita Ora had the red light and smoke in the trees. That was all in Alexandra Palace. If you've been there, you'll know. and then just one little bit, you just see a white guy with fat shades on, because again, it was, this is American style, big shades on, fades in, fades out. That's me. That was my claim to fame.
I need to see that. No, I need the timestamp. I know you know how long it is, bro. You know how big that hit was.
But bro, the thing is, it's not worth me mentioning. I'm just saying it now because we're in the conversation. If it was worth me mentioning it, bro, do you think if I was in a Jay-Z video, proper, that would be my thumbnails, mate? Forget
it should
everything
be
else.
like, even just pause it wherever you are, and that's the thumbnail.
Bro, I'm telling you, the way they edited it, it was just my face comes on the screen for a couple seconds and then off it. You don't see the beard much, just white
Can
guy.
you tell it's you though? Yeah, like if we watched it.
No, you can't tell it's me. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
I'll tell you that. I didn't have a beard like this them times. It's all mad. It's all mad. It's not even one skullfugger you can do something with if people are thinking that. I don't mind. I'm gonna find it and let you know.
Bro, I'm actually like looking now, but yeah, I can see Rita Ora with the smoke and that.
Yeah.
And then they're showing the concert at the end. Is it there where it shows it?
Oh, bro, you're gonna make me pull.
Nah, you find the timestamp. Let me know. I'll be here all night looking for that. But yeah,
it's probably best because now you've made me pull up the video now as well, because I'm thinking but the video's like 4 minutes long. I ain't gonna be able to find.
Yeah, that's sick though, bro. I swear, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, I thought it was amazing until I see what they actually gave me in the video, and then I thought, thank you for the £50. That was all. Big up Tiger for becoming a member. Big up, come on. And Lamin says Vieira should watch Rough Riders Thugs workout.
Not sure he's built for that, bro. I'm not.
I'm not sure about that. All right, cool. That's all the super chats done. Where was we anyway? What was the last bits you wanted to? Was it Mikel?
We can run another 15, man.
Yeah, I'm calm.
Keep going, bro. We have a bit of convo.
We're enjoying, man. But what did you want to say about Mikel? Earlier you said you still want to say something about Mikel. Was
Mikel? Let's get back to Mikel. Yeah, my mind's just on like hip hop now. You just told me you was in a Jay-Z video. Like my head's gone a little bit. I don't know what's going on.
Bro, when I show you, while you talk, I'm gonna find the bit I'm in, and when I show you, you're gonna think to yourself, why did you bother saying it, bro? Because that's already what I'm thinking now. The whole chat's asking when you lot see what bit I'm talking about. Yeah, you're gonna be like that. This guy's chatting shit.
Oh, well, it don't matter how small. It's a big video, big rapper. But Mikel, yeah, he might need to listen to some of this hip hop as well, man. You know what I mean? Get him up to where he needs to be.
He's saying Rough Riders Anthem.
Rough Riders Anthem, not that North London Forever, goosebumps on Odegaard's arm and that, you know what I mean? Nah, Mikel for me, like, the super chat earlier was, I think, what did he say? He said if he gets top 4 and doesn't win a trophy, would you sack him or would you move on from him? Like,
oh, yeah.
For me, I give Arteta some credit, you know, because even if you're not a fan of Arteta, he has done something at this football club. We can't act like he's done nothing. It's just, my question always is, like, people say, give him one more year. And I say, do you believe Arteta will win the Premier League next season at Arsenal with this ownership? Do you think, okay, one more year will be the year that he gets it? One more 200 million window? I don't. I don't, because I think we need more than 200 million. I think the striker can cost you 100 if it ain't Toney. If you were saying, okay, we want Osimhen, that's half your transfer budget gone already. Then you need a centre mid, maybe 2 if El Neni Jorginho go. You need a right winger. You need a centre back cover. You ain't going to get everything that you need again in another window. So I'm at the point with Arteta where I think genuinely if he gets top 4 and doesn't win a trophy, I think they should be speaking to other managers, because you can't just sack him and not have a better solution. You've got to, and I don't actually want Arsenal to change manager in the sense of I like stability at a football club. I think stability usually, you know, you feel success is built from stability. Although Chelsea have kind of gone against that. They've sacked managers for fun and won trophies. But I just don't have that belief in me that this guy is going to win the trophies. I don't know. I feel like last year, when Arteta leaves Arsenal, whenever that is, I think he will be looking at last season as that was the season I should have won the title. I think it was like it was written in the stars for us to win that title last year. City weren't quite the same. We were 8-9 points clear. You've just got to get over the finish line. And I argued with people for months. I put out tweets and I said that January transfer window, and people were going, people were going crazy in the comments. I said, bro, you're in a title race and you signed Trossard, Kivior, and Jorginho. That doesn't get you over the finish line. Trossard did okay. Trossard was the best out of the three. He did well, especially when he put pressure on Martinelli. I think Martinelli stepped his game up. Kivior, I don't know why you signed him at that moment, because they were saying he wasn't ready to play in the Premier League. So what did you buy him for? Saliba gets injured. You spent 25 mil and the guy's not ready. So you're at the Etihad with Rob Holding playing centre-back against Haaland and you're trying to win the title. If you'd have spent that 25 million on just a solid centre-back that can do a job, doesn't have to be a world beater, just come in and play next to Gabriel and keep us solid, you could have won the league, bro. Because people say, oh, City are too good, Pep's too good. We didn't lose the league because City beat us at the Etihad. We lost the league because we drew with Southampton. We lost away at Forest. We were 2-0 up at West Ham, 2-0 up at Anfield. You know, drew at home to Brentford, lost at home to Brighton. That's where the title was lost. So I just think last season, I think we should have won it. But I fell back. I said, you know what? It was a good season. In the end, it wasn't what we wanted, but I thought a big transfer window, maybe this year we get there. You spent that's the biggest transfer window in our history, and we've gone backwards. And we wanted Wenger out because of top four, but now we're getting top four. I know back-to-back top four is cool. We haven't been there for a number of years, but I don't like the fact that this manager turns down trophies, you know. I'm a great believer in you've got to win trophies, bro. You have to win trophies at a top club. If you can't win the Premier League, win the FA Cup, win the Carabao Cup. Don't turn your nose up at silverware. This manager consistently throwing away trophies that he had an opportunity to win. And you did an interview at the end of last season. Sorry to interrupt you, bro. You did an interview at the end of last season where you said, I won't remember this season, or, you know, it's not a memorable season. And again, people in the comments, blah, blah, blah. You only remember the successful seasons. As a player, as a fan, you're going to remember the trophies. I'm not going to look back and, let me watch the highlights of the 22 season when we nearly won the league. We're not interested in nearly. You know, you look at Klopp, came into Liverpool, Europa League final, got top four, Champions League final, then he won the Champions League, then he won the Premier League, then he won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And I know Klopp is a more experienced manager, but he walked into a similar situation to what Arteta had. I would actually argue that Klopp walked into a worse Liverpool team than what Arteta walked in. Arteta had prime Aubameyang.
Yeah.
He had Lacazette there, just won Player of the Year. There was some play. He had Emi Martinez, who'd have known how good he was. So for me, if Arteta gets top four, doesn't win anything, I would be having conversations and saying, listen, can you get a better manager than him? I think he's created the foundations for the next manager to come in and say, I'll finish the job from here. You know,
that's what's key. That's what's key, because there's no disrespect saying that. I think that this is where accountability and targets are a must at any football club. It's a must. Otherwise you'll just watch years go by, and because there's no accountability or targets, you're essentially just wasting time, and nothing will. There is no ambition to seek something, because there's happiness in the situation. This is what happened with Wenger in his latter years. He was delivering top fours at a time when, all right, there might be balance in the books. You pay off the stadium. Okay, cool. But they just gave him the keys for far too long, to the point where at the end of it, the next person that picked up the baton from him was essentially with like 99.9% destined to fail, because of the way the club was, you know, when he picked it up. And that was Unai Emery. And you could even say, you know, the remnants of that was on Mikel Arteta next up. But let's not make the same mistakes in that sense where Wenger deserved patience. Wenger deserved all those years of waiting to see if we'd turn a corner. Wenger deserved it. It's just
Yeah.
at the end, enough was enough. But he deserved patience. That is for sure. And I think Arsenal fans were very patient enough. I don't think any other fans of a big six club would have been as patient with their club and manager as we was with Wenger. People tend to forget that and remember the last 2 years of animosity. What about the 9-10 before that of not winning a Premier League and us being content with that because we understood the business project and whatever. We was very patient. So I think that we need to learn from that to a point where if it is looking like Mikel can't take us over the line, and that is probably going to be next season because we said regardless of what happens this season, he's likely to be the manager next season. Let's see if the Cronkies rest on their laurels and are just happy with top 4 again, or if top 4 isn't enough. Because top 4 wasn't enough for Sir Alex Ferguson. Top 4 wasn't enough for Roman Abramovich, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp. In the end, it wasn't enough for Arsene Wenger, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Top 4 should never be enough for a big club. It might be a stepping stone back to where you should be, which is fair. As Chelsea fans, they've won a hell of a lot more than Arsenal in the last 10, 15 years. But I wouldn't look at a Chelsea fan saying we need to challenge for a league title and think they've got any sense in their head. The next step for them would be a top 4 battle / making top 4. It's a step. But from that step, do you take the next step or do you sit down on that step, open your lunchbox and chill out, put a pillow next to you and chill? That's what we did with Wenger. That's why this whole accountability thing needs to, like, people think, oh, you're applying unnecessary pressure saying we got to be 5 points away minimum. Applying necessary pressure. This ain't fucking preschool. This is a football club at the highest level. Like, we're not teaching 2-year-olds how to walk here. This is grown men on a hell of a lot of money, making a hell of a lot of deals outside of football. We are just asking you to compete and win and challenge and show ambition. Accountability and targets are key. It's not pressure. It's key to success. That's what our fans need to get around their heads. I think a lot of fans, anyway.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is a generational thing, because some fans can't understand why we're not satisfied with what's happening now because this is the best that some fans have seen. If you're 18, 19 years of age now, you haven't seen Arsenal win anything outside of the FA Cup, really. So you're thinking, well, we nearly won the title. We're in the top 4. We're spending money. What are you moaning about? But we've seen Arsenal win titles. We know we move stadiums to apparently elevate ourselves to the top table. We're not currently at the top table. If we was at the top table, we'd be trying to sign Mbappe. Haaland had a 65 million release clause. We could have afforded that easily. We weren't even in the conversation. And that shows how far we've slipped down. So these guys, the only way we're going to get back to the top is if the fan base demand that and apply that pressure and say, no, we're not happy with the Kai Havertz signing. Instead of lying and saying, oh, but at Leverkusen, he looked a good player, or give him another season. No, we've signed him. You've paid loads of money. We've watched him. He ain't good enough, right? And you got in a title race. You had a great opportunity. Instead of going big in January, you signed 3, decent players that didn't elevate you enough to win the title. You got to take advantage of them situations. So for me, I think it's still a collective issue. I don't think Arteta leaving necessarily fixes everything because you've still got Edu, who hasn't done well enough when it comes to selling players. You still have got an ownership model that I question. Are they desperate to win the Premier League, or do they just want the Champions League money to filter into their clubs that in America, and they're investing huge money into them? So there's still a lot of question marks. But I think the biggest thing that you said is Arteta is going to be the manager next season. He's going to be the manager. So we've got to figure out how we can improve under him if it's possible to do that.
Yeah, and before figuring out what we're going to do come summer, we need to see how this one ends, because that will determine That will determine a lot. That will determine how the mood is in the camp, fan bases, and so on. You know, whether we finish second, third, 4 points behind, or second, third, 15 points behind. It's very different things.
Yeah.
So we need to see how we finish. Listen, if we go toe to toe with City for the rest of the season, and Liverpool, then we finish 2 games behind. That's what I'm looking at the bare minimum. I said that at the beginning of the season. Get to game week 35, 36 with a chance of winning the title. From there, whatever happens, happens. Obviously, you want to win it, but you're fighting City and now Liverpool as well, potentially. So you don't have a divine right to win it. I get that, because City are always favourites. But just be there, and then we'll determine the rest moving forward from that. But you're right. 18, 19-year-olds haven't... 27-year-olds, bro. When you really deep it, 27-year-olds, because what is it? This is the 20th year since the Invincibles. So a 27-year-old would have been 7 come the... That's kind of when kids, you know, at the earliest, 5, 6, 7, start getting into football. So even mid 20-year-olds, you know, hasn't seen us lift a major trophy. So that's why you get a lot of these arguments, you know, from people that think that maybe we're too negative, we're too harsh, because to them, this is the best they've seen. They can't believe it. And then they're probably looking at us thinking, look at these old guys, man, so negative, man. Come off the internet. The internet's not for you. Just go and read a book and drink coffee or something. That's probably what they're thinking. But the reality is, they've got to understand. I understand where you lot are coming from. I just prefer you to just be quiet. Don't comment on my opinions if your comments are going to be along those lines, because we have to understand people like us have seen us at the highest level, and at the highest level, you do have to be ruthless. There is pressure day in, day out. Not pressure once you lose 3 games and it's that manager out and the common rhetoric. There's pressure day in, day out at top football clubs. And that's what we know. We've seen Arsenal be at that level. We were sold a dream for Arsenal to remain and be at a further level than that. And 20 years later, I can't have younger Arsenal fans telling me to chill out and calm down, because that's the best they've seen. When 20 years ago, I was sold a dream. I got bumped. Like fans like me and Curtis, or, you know, the 30-year-olds and older, a lot of us feel bumped. A lot of us feel like they've done us over. A lot of us feel like you took something we loved and turned it into something else. Yes, we still love it because of the memories, but you've turned it into more a business, a company, than a football club, and, you know, with ambition. So that's where we're coming from when we moan, or whatever people like to call it.
Yeah, man.
I've got 7 super chats here, Curtis. But 5 minutes to 10. So I'll get these ones in.
I'm definitely gonna have to go at 10. I'm getting
You're getting the evil. Say no more. Say no more. Blame me,
side
bro.
eyes about now.
Blame me, bro. Blame me. Trust me. Blame me. Apologies. If anyone's in the background listening, apologies. It is me.
No, we're good, man. It was worth it. First show we had to, you know, we had to
just
let it flow. Got to that hour, I was like, yo, man, I'm not even ready to, you know what I mean? I gotta keep going.
Trust. Warming up. Triple O says also Toney is overhyped. His 20 goals included 7 penalties. I think it was 6. It might be 7. He only scored 2 more non-penalty goals than Jesus, who was out for 3 months last season. That is one of my doubts about Toney.
20 goals is 20 goals, man. I don't care how they're going.
Well, actually, I don't want to divert. If Toney comes, does he take penalties? Just out of your interest?
I think he does. Yeah, he scored 22 penalties in a row before he missed, I think.
He should do, yeah. Garvin says, looks like Arteta taking Salt Bay meat went a long way. What? Why? Oh, bro. I rate Nusret, but sometimes I look at things and think, why was it a Turkish man that done this, man?
Bro, I don't think he came out of it worse. I think it was the manager, bro.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean? He's just making his money, bro. You can't knock the hustle.
But then you got people saying, a Turkish man fed Mikel. And I'm just like, don't just say a man. Just say it. Don't say a Turkish man. Just say a man. Just a man. That's it.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that.
Bro, that's crazy. Java says, we all knew after Wenger that the first couple managers were going to be sacrificed, kind of. Yeah, their job was to get us out of the mud, cut the dead wood, then move him on to getting a world-class manager. It is time. I see what you're saying there, and I tend to look. Arsene Wenger's legacy was built off of George Graham's era and the back line, and you know, Adams, Keown, Bold, Winterburn, Dixon. I don't think without Without them, not sure we would have won 3 league titles under Arsene Wenger. So there's no disrespect in saying the manager takes you so far and then another manager kicks on.
Yeah.
As says currently at work doing a 12-hour night shift, listening to you guys get me through. Keep up the great content. Come on, you Gunners, and love for the love. Come on, G, big up, and hopefully you're some way through that 12-hour shift. Bo says, Big C, Mikel be listening to that Coleman music. Okay. Method Man and Jada are the only guys that ever recorded with Biggie, chest out, equal or better. Check Lupe's album since leaving Sony. You guys, Harvin, super chat. Stop Curtis from pushing the time back. Nah, bro, we're half in everything. This ain't my show. This ain't Curtis's show. Even though it's going to be on my channel for now, this is our show. Our show. Obviously, Curtis does a regular content on his channel. I don't do any here, so there's more room for this to grow. And like I said, we'll assess it in the summer. But big up everyone sending in super chats. Big up everyone in the live chat. Everyone that's just hit the like button. Everyone that's sharing it. Love for the love. Same way, people. And last one here from Triple O. And it says, Arteta's ego will be his downfall like Wenger. But at least Wenger won trophies before his ego took over. And he tinkered with the style of play. Very true. And that's why the patience was warranted one way or another. All right, Big C. 2 minutes to 10. Listen, I really appreciate you, extending an extra hour because it was my fault. We had to record at 8 instead of 7. I know people are asking, is it every Sunday? I already know off the top of my head, next week, Arsenal, Liverpool, 4:30. So if it was to be a Sunday, Curtis would have to do a late one. All I can say right now, we haven't scheduled in things, but we are going to bring this to you once a week, every week. If you subscribe and put your notification bell on, you'll know exactly when it's coming out. Follow us on the socials as well. You know the socials already. Search up Curtis Shaw, search up Turkish LDN. They will come up on the socials, IG, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch. Actually, I don't have a TikTok or a Twitch personally, but yeah, IG, Twitter. All right, Big C, love for the love, my guy.
Big up, bro. Pleasure, man. You know what I mean? We just had to let the show flow. We're talking hip hop, football, clothes. It was all gonna be there. So yeah, looking forward to more shows. Glad we've started. Make sure you like up the video. And yeah, man, looking forward to next week's. And keep doing your thing, man. You're doing big things, man. Big Six. I've told you many times off camera, I think as a multi-person show, I don't think there's a better football show on YouTube, man. So, keep building. And yeah, man, hopefully 2 channels now growing, bro. So it's a credit to you.
Love, bro. Love, G. Come on. All right, people. Subscribe to Curtis Shaw TV. Make sure you subscribe right here. Follow us on the socials. Show some love to both channels. Curtis's channel up and running every single day. Content. My one slowly but surely, but this show will be on this channel for the rest of the season. Hit the like button. Show some love in the comment section below as well. And love for the love. Till the next time, people. We're at. Peace.